The ice doesn't just break, it screams. 1 second, the forest is silent. The next, a jagged crack echoes like a gunshot. 6-month-old Koda feels the world vanish beneath his paws. The water is black. It is suffocating. It is -40 degrees, and the current is pulling him under the frozen shelf where the sun can't reach. His mother is on the bank, her roar shaking the very trees, but she is powerless. Koda's tiny claws scrape against the slick, glass-like edge, but there is nothing to grab. His lungs are burning. The river is winning. If he lets go now, the forest will never see him again. Before we find out if Koda can beat the current, drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. We love meeting our community. If you're a fan of these incredible survival stories, hit like and subscribe to join the pack. The last day of summer, the mountain air usually smells like pine and damp earth, not fear. Just 24 hours ago, the valley was a paradise. Koda spent his afternoon chasing grasshoppers through the tall golden stalks of the alpine meadows. His mother, a massive silver-tipped grizzly named Shira, watched from the shade of an ancient cedar. This is the rhythm of the wild. Eat, grow, and stay close. But the seasons don't change slowly here. They snap. A sudden, brutal northern front has turned the meadow into a graveyard of frozen wildflowers. The salmon have stopped running, and the hunger in Shira's gut is a ticking clock. She needs to move Koda to the high caves before the deep burial begins. To get there, they have to cross the Black Ice River, a shortcut that usually sleeps under a thick winter crust. But the crust is a lie. The early freeze was followed by a brief, deceptive thaw. The ice looks solid, like a marble floor, but underneath, the current is a runaway train. Shira steps onto the surface first. She grunts a command. Koda hesitates. His instincts scream, no, but his devotion says follow. As Koda takes his third step, a sound like a gunshot rings out. By the time Shira turns around, her cub is gone. Only a dark, jagged hole remains in the white surface. The darkness beneath the silence under the ice is louder than the roar above. Koda is trapped in a tomb of glass. The current is a muscular, invisible hand, dragging his small body deeper into the frozen veins of the river. Above him, he sees a massive, dark shadow pacing frantically. It's Shira. She is slamming her paws against the frozen surface. But to Koda, she is just a ghost in another world. His thick fur is now a lead weight. Every second, the cold reaches deeper, turning his muscles to stone. Then he sees it. A fallen cedar tree has wedged itself against a bend in the river. The current slams Koda directly into the tangle. He sinks his claws into the bark. He holds on with the strength of a creature that refuses to become a memory. He finds a small pocket of trapped air beneath a hollow log, just enough for one jagged, freezing breath. But the wood is groaning. The pressure of the river is building, and the entire trash dam is about to give way. If the tree breaks loose, Koda goes with it, straight into the whitewater rapids of the lower falls. Above, Shira has started to dig. Her massive claws are ripping through the ice like a jackhammer. Suddenly, the log Koda is clinging to shifts. A sickening crack vibrates through the water. The dam is breaking. The log dam shatters. Koda is flung into a chaotic world of white foam and crashing timber. He is tumbling, spinning, unable to tell where the surface is. Above, Shira has finally breached the ice. She plunges her massive head and shoulders into the freezing water, searching blindly. Her jaws snap shut on something. The scruff of Koda's coat just as he is being swept past. With a strength that defies the current, she heaves. Koda's body breaks the surface, gasping. She drags him onto the solid bank, his small body shivering so violently he can't stand. They are out of the water, but they aren't safe. Their fur is soaked, and the temperature is dropping. If they don't find shelter and dry off in the next 20 minutes, the cold will finish what the river started. And from the tree lean, a pair of pale, hungry eyes is watching the exhausted pair. A lone timber wolf has been following the scent of struggle. The river is behind them, but the silence of the forest is even more dangerous. Koda's fur isn't just wet, it's beginning to freeze. The water trapped in his thick undercoat is turning into a suit of ice armor that pulls the heat from his skin. He tries to walk, but his legs are stiff, heavy, and unresponsive. Shira knows the signs. If they don't reach the heat caves on the southern ridge, the cub will fall asleep in the snow and never wake up. She pushes him. Literally. Using her massive forehead, she nudges Koda forward every time he falters. But their progress is slow. Each step through the deepening powder is a Herculean effort. Then, the wind shifts. Shira stops. Her nose twitches, catching a scent that cuts through the smell of pine and ozone. It's the smell of old blood and wet musk. The timber wolf is no longer just watching. It is moving. Wolves are masters of the long game. This lone hunter knows the grizzly is the apex predator of the mountains, but he also sees the weakness. He sees a cub that can barely lift its head and a mother whose energy was spent clawing through 3 feet of ice. To a wolf, this isn't a fight, it's an opportunity. The predator appears like a gray ghost between 2 hemlock trees. He doesn't growl. He doesn't rush. He simply trots in a wide circle, staying just out of Shira's striking range. He is testing her. He wants to see if she will leave the cub to defend herself, or if she is too exhausted to move. Shira lets out a low, guttural warning that vibrates the very ground, but her lungs are heavy. She stands over Koda, straddling his small body with her front legs. She is a fortress of fur and muscle, but even a fortress can be flanked. The wolf darts in, snapping at Shira's heels, then dancing away before she can swing a paw. It's a psychological war. He is trying to make her burn her last remaining fuel. Koda lets out a high-pitched whimper. The sound acts like a dinner bell for the predator. The wolf lunges again, closer this time, his yellow eyes locked on the cub's throat. Shira realizes she cannot win this by standing still. She has to find a way to get Koda into the dense brush of the ridge where the wolf's speed is useless. But as they reach the base of the slope, a new sound joins the fray. The low, distant rumble of shifting snow from the peaks above. The temperature drop has triggered a minor slide. The mountain itself is beginning to move. Now, they are trapped between a predator that wants their life and an avalanche that wants the entire slope. Shira has one choice: face the wolf head-on or risk the climb into the path of the falling snow. The rumble from the peaks isn't just a sound. It's a vibration Koda feels in his very bones. The snow beneath Shira's paws is beginning to groan, a warning that the mountain's white skin is ready to shed. But the wolf doesn't care about the mountain. To the predator, the avalanche is just a ticking clock, a reason to kill faster. The wolf lunges, not at Shira's heels this time, but directly for the cub's exposed neck. Shira reacts with a speed that defies her size. She pivots on her hind legs, 1,000 pounds of maternal fury swinging like a wrecking ball. Her massive paw, armed with claws the size of kitchen knives, whistles through the air. It misses the wolf's skull by a fraction of an inch, the sheer force of the wind from the blow knocking the predator sideways into a snowdrift. The wolf scrambles up, shaking snow from its fur, eyes wide with a new respect. But it sees Shira's breath. It is ragged, heavy. She is flagging. Koda, fueled by a sudden spike of adrenaline, tries to crawl toward a rocky overhang. Every movement is a battle against the ice crusting his fur. He reaches the base of a jagged granite cliff just as the mountain finally gives way. A roar like 1,000 jet engines fills the valley. High above, a massive shelf of snow collapses, tumbling down the couloir in a wall of white death. Shira has 2 seconds. She doesn't run for the trees. She lunges for Koda, grabbing him by the scruff and throwing him into a narrow crevice in the granite cliff. She follows immediately, jamming her massive body into the opening, acting as a living plug. The wolf, realizing too late that the game is over, turns to flee toward the timberline, but the white wall is faster. In a heartbeat, the world goes white. The avalanche slams into the cliff with the force of a tidal wave. For Koda, the world is sudden darkness and the smell of his mother's wet, hot fur. He is crushed beneath her weight as the snow piles up outside, sealing them into a tomb of ice and stone. Minutes pass. The roar fades into a terrifying, suffocating silence. Under the snow, the air is getting thin. Shira begins to move. She isn't digging out. She is vibrating. She is using her massive muscle mass to generate shivering thermogenesis, pumping heat into the small space to dry Koda's fur. It is a desperate gamble. She is burning the last of her fat reserves to keep him from freezing to death in their temporary grave. Finally, she begins to dig. Not sideways toward the wolf's path, but up. When her claws finally break through the surface into the moonlight, the world is transformed. The forest is gone, buried under 10 feet of debris. The wolf is nowhere to be seen. Shira hauls herself out, then reaches back down to pull a dry, shivering, but very much alive Koda into the freezing night air. They have survived the water, the wolf, and the mountain. High above, the southern ridge glows under a pale moon. The heat caves are close. They have won the day, but the winter is just beginning. The air at the summit of the ridge is different. It's no longer the scent of frozen death, but something ancient and sulfurous. Koda is stumbling now, his energy completely spent. Every breath he draws comes out as a thick cloud of steam. Behind them, the valley they just escaped is a graveyard of white, silent and indifferent. But ahead, tucked into the jagged ribs of the mountain, lies the entrance to the heat caves, a volcanic anomaly where the earth's inner fire warms the stone. As they enter the mouth of the cavern, the change is instant. The biting wind dies, replaced by a heavy, humid warmth that clings to their fur. Koda collapses onto the smooth, heated floor. The ice on his coat doesn't just melt. It evaporates, rising off his small body in ghostly plumes of white vapor. Shira stands at the entrance for a long moment, her silhouette framed by the silver moonlight. She watches the tree lean, her ears swiveling for the sound of a wolf or the rumble of snow, but the mountain is finally still. She turns and walks deeper into the golden glow of the cave. She lies down next to her cub, pulling his warm, dry body against her chest. In this hidden sanctuary, the winter cannot reach them. The river, the wolf, and the avalanche are now just shadows of the past. Koda's eyes slowly close, his breathing rhythmic and deep. He is safe. He is warm. He has survived his first true lesson of the wild, that life is a gift bought with courage and protected by love. The mother grizzly rests her heavy head on her paws, her golden eyes finally softening as sleep takes her. Tomorrow, the snow will still be there, but for tonight, the fire of the earth is enough. If you enjoyed this wildlife survival story and want to see more high-stakes animal adventures, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new chapter in the wild. Thanks for being part of our community.